All right, let's get into it. Steve here. The bell's rung, and what a day. We just saw a massive relief squeeze in equities, something that just doesn't make sense, not with the kind of geopolitical heat we're seeing. So we got to break down this tape. We got to figure out what it's really telling us.
And I mean that. Today's price action was not noise. It was a signal, a big one. If you ignore what happened today, you're basically trading yesterday's market. You're trading a ghost, and that is how you get absolutely run over.
Okay, here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at what the tape actually did, this defiant move. Then we'll dig into the catalysts. What sparked this? We've got economic data and, of course, the geopolitical headlines. After that, we'll size up the fight, the bull case versus the bear case. And we'll wrap it up with a tactical plan. What do we do tomorrow?
Right, let's get into the guts of it. The tape today was just defiant. That's the only word for it. You had this huge relief rally in stocks while energy was getting absolutely smoked. A total disconnect.
So here's the board at the close. Look at the S&P 500. Explosive, up well over 1%. Just a huge green day. But then you look over at Brent crude. Hammered, down over 4%. That is a massive move down. Meanwhile, gold caught a nice bid, rebounding strong. And Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is just doing its thing. Holding steady, consolidating. The story here is that divergence. Risk on in stocks, risk off in oil. What gives?
And here's the technical picture. I mean, look at this. The S&P didn't just drift higher. It closed at 69.67. It completely shattered resistance, blowing past both the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. This wasn't a weak little rally. This was a powerful statement from the bulls. And this, right here, illustrates the whole conflict of the day perfectly. On the left, you've got stocks going to the moon. On the right, oil is literally falling off a cliff. So you have to ask yourself, why? What on earth could cause such a massive split in the market? Let's get to the first catalyst.
The first piece of the puzzle, the thing that really lit the fuse, dropped this morning, the Producer Price Index report. Now, everybody on the street was bracing for a really, really hot number. But what we got was the complete opposite.
This right here, this was the rocket fuel for the squeeze. The consensus, what everyone was expecting for month-over-month PPI, was a scorching hot 1.2%. The actual number? It came in at just 0.5%. That is not a miss. That is a massive, gigantic miss. And it caught all the shorts completely flat-footed. And if you thought that was something, get this. You strip out the crazy food and energy prices, and the core PPI was even weaker. It came in at just 0.1%. This gave the bulls all the ammo they needed. It sent a signal that maybe, just maybe, this wholesale inflation problem isn't spiraling out of control after all.
Now, looking at the big picture, the year-over-year number was 4%. Again, way below the 4.7% people were expecting. So the headline takeaway, it was good news. But, and there's always a but, a word of caution. You look inside that report, the energy component still jumped a whopping 8.5%. So the pressure is down for sure, but it has not gone away.
Okay, so that was catalyst number one. Now for the second major driver, and this is the one that explains that cliff dive in crude oil. The geopolitical chessboard is moving fast, and the headlines are yanking prices around minute by minute.
So let's just walk through the timeline of events. Yesterday morning, the U.S. naval blockade goes live. Big deal. Then this morning, we get reports that a ship actually made it out of the strait. Okay, interesting. But the real bomb, the real catalyst, was a post from President Trump claiming that Tehran called him wanting to make a deal. That single headline changed the entire mood of the market in an instant.
So here's what's happening. The market is now sniffing out a diplomatic exit ramp. It's not a done deal, not even close. But the rumor of another round of negotiations is enough. The market is pricing in the possibility of de-escalation. That's why oil is selling off, and that's why stocks are rallying on hope. So all this chaos leads us to two very, very different ways of looking at this market. You've got two competing stories now, and they are battling it out for control. Let's break down the arguments from both the bulls and the bears. Okay, so the bears, they're arguing that today was nothing but a hope rally. It's fluff. They'll tell you the blockade is still very much active, the S&P is way overextended technically, and if these talks go nowhere, we're looking at a potential bloodbath right back down to that 200-day moving average. But the bulls, they're firing back. They're saying, we control the primary trend, we just took back all the major moving averages. That soft PPI data gives the Fed cover to stay on the sidelines, and they argue the wartime boom in tech is the ultimate hedge no matter what happens. So, With those two camps duking it out, how do we actually trade this thing? Let's get to the closing plan. Enough theory. It's time to talk tactics. It's time to talk levels. What do we do now?
All right, get a pen, write these down. These are the numbers that matter now. 68.86 on the S&P. That is your new pivot, your new support. As long as we are above that level, the bulls own the ball. Now your get out line, your line in the sand, is 67.62. That's the 50-day. If we lose that level, this entire move today was a massive, nasty bull trap. And for oil, you're watching $95 on Brent. If that floor breaks, it's over. The war premium is officially dead and gone.
So what's the discipline here? It's simple. You trade with small sizes. You use tight stops. And you absolutely do not trust these headlines until you see the ink dry on an actual deal. Remember, rumors buy rallies, but facts can sell them off even faster. Wait for confirmation.
Look, this market moves fast. It doesn't wait for latecomers. The levels are clear, the narrative is set. The only question left is, do you have the discipline to execute the plan? Can you avoid the emotion and just trade the levels? That's the whole game right there. Watch your levels. I'll see you tomorrow. The ledger is closed.